Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a review on a newer Blackvue model, the DR450-1CH. So this is a one-channel system from Blackvue, and it's their newest entry-level model. So this does still have Blackvue's popular automatic parking mode by motion detection, and its trademark black cylindrical design. The trade-offs is that it doesn't have Wi-Fi, and external GPS is just an optional feature. So it is really affordable though at only $120. This was sent to me for review by dashcambros.com, an online retailer based in the US. So I'd like to thank them for sending this unit out for review. I've actually ordered from them before personally, and they have pretty quick shipping and great customer service, so I would recommend them. And we are actually going to be giving this specific unit away for one of our viewers. So check the link on this video on how to enter on the video or down in the description. You'll have until November 1st. It's only available to the lower 48 states, but you can actually enter multiple times. The first time by signing up in the link, but then there'll be other ways like sharing this video. So just check the link down below and read the official rules if you're interested. So let's take a look at the camera. Of course, it looks just like every other Blackvue for the most part of the last few years, with a standard 12-volt power cord. So it comes with some cable clips, an extra adhesive, the micro SD card, USB adapter, and the blue pieces to help install the wires in your headliner. Of course, it comes with a pretty decent manual. Blackvue usually has pretty good documentation. And let's take a look at the camera. So this one is probably one of the most basic looking ones I've seen actually. There's no shiny parts on it. It's all matte black. All the previous models had a mute button here, but recent firmware has made it an emergency record button, but this one doesn't have a button there at all. So here you can see there's a little cover for the other side. We got a memory card. It always comes installed inside the camera. This one was the 16 gig version. And in addition to the power in and the GPS in, this does actually have a little spot to put a small padlock if you want to actually lock the camera. So if you were a business or something with vehicles for your fleet, you could actually put a little lock on there. And it is removable from the mount. This is pretty standard for Blackvue. And I want to do a quick comparison with a DR450-GW. The DR450S will look exactly the same, which is just the newer cloud version. But you can see this new one is a little bit smaller, but not significantly smaller. Now the 650 does have built-in Wi-Fi and built-in GPS. And my specific model is the 2-channel version, so it has an extra port for the rear camera. Here you can see the 450 has a rougher texture, so it's not a big deal, but the 650 does look smoother. One thing that isn't on the 650 are these little lines that let you see exactly where you're aiming the camera, so that way if you remove the camera, you can remember what line you had it set at. Now, since this doesn't have Wi-Fi, you are going to have to change the settings from the PC or Mac software. It is nice that Blackvue does offer Mac software too, but this is their viewing software, which you can download from their website. You can view your files, you can make copies of them, you can zoom in and take screenshots. So just like any other Blackvue camera though, like I said earlier, this does have the parking mode by motion detection or G-Shock. So with this software, you're going to be able to change a lot of the settings. Like here you can see we have the resolution, the brightness, the recording status LEDs. You can turn those off or on. So since you don't have Wi-Fi, you're not going to be able to use the iOS or Android app. So this is definitely important. And now if you are using the parking mode, you likely will want to adjust the sensitivity of the motion detection or the G-Shock detection. I personally recommend keeping the motion detection on the lower side because it is really sensitive. Just leaves blowing on trees will actually initiate it. And there's one more page of miscellaneous settings. So we got the security LED, if you want to have those blinking on or off, or if you want to turn it off just during parking mode, you can. So overall, I think the software gives you quite a few options. It's not the best out there, but it gets you what you really need. So now, I will say that this video quality, it's not anything special, but from prior Blackvue cameras, it actually does seem like a little bit of a step up even in the day quality. It's about 9.8 megabits per second, so quite a bit lower than a lot of other cameras. Now the audio on this is passable too.
There are only two things that'll get me out of my recliner. One of those is a trip to the buffet table. Ours always includes grilled brats and hot dogs on soft, fresh village corn buns. At halftime, we bring out a huge platter of cold-cut sandwiches made on country hearth multi-grain bread. Baked right here in the Midwest.
So it doesn't knock your socks off, but you can definitely hear everything very clearly. Overall, I'd say the video quality and audio quality is about what I was expecting, at least for the day. It does seem to look a little less pixelated than prior cameras. It almost looks smoother, but at the same time it doesn't look more detailed. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I think it's easier on my eyes than some of the previous Blackvue cameras. But again, I don't really feel like I'm getting more detail either. So now the night footage, I was somewhat disappointed with. When you're driving around areas like this with a decent amount of street lights, it's not bad. It's definitely not great, but I don't feel like there's any real dark spots between the street lights. Overall, I think it actually looks pretty smooth. It doesn't look super grainy either or pixelated, but again, it still doesn't look very detailed. The biggest problem though is when you're driving on really dark roads. This road has no street lights, and while it's not completely dark like some cameras I have used in the past few years, it's still really dark. But the nice thing is this is just the default settings, so if you drive around a lot at night you can turn the brightness up. Now just for comparison, I did want to show the ThinkWare F770, which is almost 3 times the price of the Blackvue DR450, but here you can see just how much brighter. This is the exact same road. I don't think it was the exact same time, but here again is the 450 by Blackvue. It just seems so dark compared to a lot of other cameras nowadays that this is probably this model's biggest flaw. Now you are obviously going to expect better quality in a $300+ ThinkWare camera, but it is worth pointing out, I think. There are some cameras around the $100 range that have decent night quality, but the one thing most cheap cameras don't have is the really good parking mode. So that beep was actually the parking mode detecting a G-Shock. So I had just gone into the store and I came back. I loaded my trunk, and when I slammed the trunk, I set off the G sensor. I'll restart the clip right here, but this camera does use buffered parking mode, so right there's the G-Shock. It actually saved the previous 5 seconds, so it's not constantly recording all the time, because that's going to be harder on your battery if you have this hardwired with something like the PowerMagic Pro or CellLink Battery B. But at the same time, if that was a car that hit my car in the parking lot, they couldn't just drive off really quick and get away from the camera. Some cameras that don't have buffered parking, they might not start recording for a second or two after, so it's really important for a good parking mode to have that buffered part. And that's not actually recording to your memory card, that's on its own internal memory, so as soon as it senses that motion or impact, it saves that 5 seconds onto your memory card, and an additional 25 seconds. I think Blackvue still is up there, at least in the top 3 camera companies for parking mode. So if you really want a cheaper, affordable camera with a really good parking mode, I think this is a good option. The biggest downfall, like I pointed out, was the night footage on really dark roads. It's really dark, But the trade-off is you get Blackvue's really great parking mode with motion detection and buffered recording, and that's really important to me personally. That's why I typically use Blackvue cameras, and currently I am using the ThinkWare also because that has a comparable parking mode. So for $120 from dashcambros.com, I think this is a pretty nice camera, especially if you don't care about GPS or Wi-Fi. You're going to get almost as good of a camera as a lot of the higher end, more expensive Blackvue cameras with most of the same features. So again, I'd like to thank Dashcam Bros for sending this out for review. I'll provide a link down below to where you can purchase this from them, and of course don't forget, up until November 1st, 2016, we are giving this camera away, so check the link for the contest. As usual, thanks for watching, drive safe, and I'll see you next time.